Hello racing fans, Numbers Guy here with our series reviewing last year's Breeders' Cup races. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to cover the 7 furlong filly and mare sprint, and again what we do is we show you in standard numbers format the horses in finish order along with the race number that they actually earned in their Breeders' Cup race. So in other words, Musical Romance wins the race, runs a 4.7. Switch runs second, runs a 5.5. Her Smile runs third, runs a 6.0, and so on. So in this race, this was one of those races that the numbers really help you to pick out a winner. And it's not just any winner. This horse paid 20 to 1, Musical Romance. This was maybe not an obvious choice, but certainly one of the very top contenders. Just based on the numbers, I think this horse's chances were more like 4 to 1 or 5 to 1, with a very strong pattern and very good numbers, very competitive numbers in the race. 20 to 1 shot, Musical Romance. So, taking a look at her, she just steadily improved throughout the year. Very strong horse. Back in April, she ran 11.9. And then let's come up and take a look up top here. She then improved to 8.9, improved again to an 8.6. These are very strong. These small improvements lend themselves to future improvement. Then she advanced quite a bit here to a 6.3 in July, which was her best at the time. Apparently that took a little bit out of her as Musical Romance then regressed to 10.5. Ran a turf race, which was even worse, although I generally would consider that a throwout race with the change in surface. And then she started what we call the circle back pattern, which is one of my very favorite patterns. I consider it very strong, where she now headed back in the direction of her previous best. So the 10.5 she regressed, but the 8.3 is now back in the forward moving direction. So I would have expected her to run better in October, and she did. 6.2, very strong race, and she was 9 to 1 in that race. Got beat ahead for it all. Actually beat Switch in that race. So very, very strong race by Musical Romance. Now it's a little bit questionable if she's going to improve off that. A lot of times horses find that when they reach their best again, that it's a plateau and they regress. But in this case, and again, 20 to 1, you can afford to maybe take a little bit of a shot. She just continued improving, wins the Breeders' Cup at 20 to 1, and certainly no surprise. The horse that ran second, Switch, who actually, that's the one I thought would run the best in the race. She actually did have the circle back pattern coming into the Breeders' Cup. She was also a very strong horse and got beat less than a length to previous in her life, to Havre de Grace, to Blind Luck, and to the Great Zenyatta. This horse has quite a resume. Anyway, in April, she ran a 4.3, which was her best at the time. Then comes up in June, regresses a little bit off that, runs a 5.5, and then regresses quite a bit off of that race, running a 9.6. They give her a little bit of time to recover, and then she runs her circle or turn the corner race as part of the circle back pattern, runs a 6.3, very strong, but again, Musical Romance actually beat her in that race. That she would continue to improve is no surprise at all. I was actually targeting this 4.3. She improved, ran a 5.5 at 7 to 2, second favorite. Clearly she was about to run a big race, and she teamed with Musical Romance for $177 exacta, and you got two of the strongest horses in the race, clear contenders at the very least. Okay, so let's see. Turbulent Descent actually went off as the favorite in the race, mainly based, I guess, on this 4.2. She very, very fast number, no doubt about it. But Turbulent Descent also was a horse that looked like she might have a little bit of physical problems or illness or something. Anyway, in February she ran a 9.4, very strong, followed up by an improving 9.3 in March, and then ran a bang-up 6.4 in April. Turbulent Descent had some very fast numbers, But then you see her races start getting a little bit spaced out. So here she regressed to a 7.5, and then she had some more time off and ran a 4.2 and just demolished a nice field in that 4.2 race. Very, very strong race. She goes off a 7-5 favorite. Again, you know, strong numbers. I tend to get mesmerized by those somewhat, but her pattern is iffy. You know, again, she's got a long time off between races. Okay, another horse that didn't run as well as she had previously is Tar Heel Mom. Her pattern's a little starker than this. Back in August, she was one of the fastest fillies running, ran a 3.5. I thought she and Hilda's Passion were probably the two fastest coming into the Breeders' Cup. And then she proceeded to regress, and she regressed quite a bit. Now, sometimes a horse off these kind of regressions will regroup and head back towards a good number. Tar Heel Mom certainly did not. Her workouts tended to indicate that something happened to her. Previously, she was one of the fastest working horses on the track. Since September, her works were very, very modest. She just did not look like a horse going anywhere but regressing. Another horse that I thought would run a little bit better was Golden Mystery. And after a little bit of time off, Golden Mystery came back in early September, ran a 7.5, and then improved on that to run a very, very swift 5.6. But again, these races were at 6 furlongs. They're going 7 today, and Golden Mystery is right around the lead. It just looked like the extra furlong was going to be taxing for her, and she did regress quite a bit in the Breeders' Cup. I'm not sure if the 5.6 took its toll or the change in distance took its toll, but actually I was a little surprised she did not run better. In addition, now Pomeroy's Pistol went off as the third favorite at 6-1, and I really don't know why. You know, I look at her, you know, her numbers are fairly strong, 7.1, 7.9, but she was not especially forward moving. She'd kind of plateaued in the 8 to 7.1 category, which, you know, was okay, but you have many horses in here with faster numbers that appeared like they were moving forward. Anyway, I hope you can see that these 20-1 shots are not, the numbers can help you find these sort of things. These are not just out of the blue items. Musical Romance had a very strong pattern coming in. So did Switch. Very strong pattern coming in with very fast numbers. A 6.2 figured, 6.3 figured. And if you can toss out Turbulent Descent, who again, I don't think she was a false favorite, but I think she was a questionable favorite. You know, it just looked like she might be a bit iffy, and with that in mind, the top two finishers totally figured. Anyway, hope this helps, and we'll be back with more of our reviews.